My name is Jillian Graver. I live in Trafford, and we're right next to Penn Township. I found out about a year and a half ago that they were going to be putting in a well pad very close to my house, and I have 2 young kids, so I was really concerned about it. I went to a meeting, and because it was in Penn Township instead of Trafford, I wasn't allowed to speak. So there were some people that I found that were fighting putting in the pads in Penn Township, and so I connected with those people, and I said, well, what can I do? And they said, well, you know what you can do is be our president. So a year and a half later, we're a 501c3, and we're a nonprofit, and we worked really hard for that. We have a lot of people helping us. We have a great team of people concerned about our community, because it's not just Penn Township, it's not just Trafford, it's the entire community. You can't put a bubble around Penn Township and hope that the air doesn't cross our borders, because it will. And there are so many families that are going to be affected by air contamination, by water contamination. So we're just trying to help those people in our community. All these people out here have well water, and so it's going to be like back here. This is a really nice piece of property here. Look, they're along the creek. And Harold's first. This is the Mandries. There's another St. Olivia. This guy's had his house on the market forever. Nobody wants to buy it.
My name's Starlene Leslie, and I own property here at 2007 Dutch Hollow Road. And where they're looking at gas drilling is right up on the top of that hill. Protect PT first started with educating me in regards to gas drilling. I became a member, and our lawyer is voicing our concern, along with everybody in the neighborhood, voicing their concerns in regards to the gas drilling. I never knew what fracking was. I thought a gas well was like a regular well where they dug straight down. The water runs off the road into the yard. 5 years ago, we actually had a part of the road collapse down in. So this road was detoured for months. We all have wells around here. Every single house up on this road and down the other road, we all have wells. And this well that we have here, that well's been here for over 50 years. The well was there when my dad bought the property. We have never had a problem with our well. And all the time that we had, even through droughts in the summertime, never a problem, because there's so many underground springs here. So if they're up there and I'm down here, where do you think it's going to run?
My name is Harold Baker, Jeanette, PA 15644. I have a fear of chemicals. Vietnam, I was told chemicals there wouldn't hurt you. It's been some 50 years later, and I'm feeling the effects of the chemicals sprayed in Vietnam. I don't need more chemicals sprayed over me here. I don't want to drink the chemicals. I don't want to eat the chemicals. I don't want to hear the dozers, the trucks. I don't want to smell their diesel fuel. And I do not want them here. Had my share of nightmares. I don't want to go through that no more. Got a lot of medical problems, and I don't want no more. I want to live a little bit longer. The chemical I was exposed to in Vietnam was Agent Orange. And like I said, they said that it wouldn't hurt you, no fear. You don't have to worry about it. And 50 years later, I can't. I got to walk with 2 canes. Need my wife to help me do a lot of things that I normally would have done. I mean, I have to have her do a lot of my chores that I feel bad for it, but I can't really do nothing about it. We do have well water, and that's a big concern too. I don't want to drink their chemicals. I don't want to lose my water. If anybody's ever had a well lost their water just for half a day, they know what water means.
My name is Gene Myers. The well pads is, I have one to the right of me, that's the Beatty pad, and that one there I'd say is about, as the crow flies, maybe 1,300 feet. And then directly over my shoulder here is just up over on the second hill, that's the Draftina pad. And that one is approximately the same distance. So I'm kind of like triangulated right here. I've worked in this industry and in Butler County connecting the well pads, and I just see what it does and how it affects the community. By the time we get in there to do the pipelining, people are very upset with just the whole operation because they've already had to deal with all the fracking and all the traffic and so forth, so on. So they're not very friendly to you when you're up there working, which I felt sorry for them the whole time I was up there. As far as the noise, the pollution, I mean, this is a watershed here, worried about the wells. I just on like bore pipe just for the pipelining, there would be what's called a frack out, and that's when bentonite that they use to slick the pipe up, what it does is it'll find its way up. And I had cleaned many of fish ponds. It takes oxygen out of the water, and what happens is the fish will die because they don't have any oxygen. And we've had to replace a number of ponds because of that. It's like anything else. You have people who are under pressure to get the job done, and it goes all the way down to the ladder, down to the laborer doing the work. And sometimes it just gets out of hand. So we're worried about our wells down here. I mean, I have an excellent well. By the time it's said and done with the industrial process of it, you're talking 2.5 to 3 years. Across the state and across this country, you have seen the results of what fracking is doing. And it's always the money first. And, they seem to feel as if they should be treated as any other industry that comes in on this MEO here. And they shouldn't have the special exemption for it. I mean, it's an industrial process, and they themselves, they just sugarcoat everything. They make it sound so nice, and it's not. It's just at the expense of the environment and the people. The people, that's who they're affecting, and they don't care. It's always a minimal thing. I've seen it up there, and that's why, like I said before, when I was up there working, people were upset. They could drill only on an 8-hour shift if they wanted to, or a 10-hour shift, or even a 12-hour shift would be acceptable if it was during daylight hours. But when they want to do it 24/7, just because it would cost them more if they had to do it on a shift, that's the reason. It's all about the money. And Protect PT helped stop it. I mean, just through information. So if it wasn't for Protect PT, like I said, we would all be in trouble here. It would have been awful. And that's why I'm still continuing to do as much as I can to stop it. We got their attention, and we said we don't want it. We're worried about our life. This would just get ruined. It's sad that what they did up in these other counties and other states. This is the peace I have here, and I don't want to lose that. Our state legislature needs to start sticking up for the people. There are bad consequences to this, and it will just get worse. I mean, why did New York stop it? Why is there earthquakes in Ohio? fracking is not the way to go.
My name's Beth. We're on my property. I own about 20 acres in Penn Township, Pennsylvania. You see the deer up on the hillside there. I get to see deer and animals every single day here. I'm truly blessed. I've just seen the turkey with the 10 baby turkeys following the mama. I get to see the fawns from the deer. I just get to see the nature and the wildlife every single day. That's why I love it here. When I think of this battle that we're facing with the gas company suing our township, I feel like we're in a fight that the nation and the rest of the world are fighting as well. And it kind of feels like the David and Goliath battle, where the gas companies are kind of the arrogant champions, and they kind of bully you around because they have so much money. And it's true they have that, and a lot of people would cower, but I feel like we can become the David that fights back without all that messy, dirty armor type of thing, and just use our constitutional rights to bring the giant down. When I first found out that fracking took about 8 million gallons of water to complete, I was blown away by that. I thought, stop right there, because ultimately you're taking God's fresh drinking water that we use, that we need for our plants, our crops, our food, our bathing, and you're just wasting it. You're putting it into the ground with chemicals, and you can never get it back the way it was. So even step one of this entire process is wrong. It's wrong. We can't afford to do it. Water is not a renewable resource for us, and we have to be good stewards of what God has given us.